Welcome to the latest edition of the Stephen A. Smith Show. We're here in my studio thanks to our official studio sponsor, FanDuel Sportsbook. FanDuel is the official sports betting company of the Stephen A. Smith Show. My guest is the director of the big screen blockbusters Training Day, Replacement Killers, and Brooklyn's Finest. His latest film is the third installment in the Equalizer franchise. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm talking about a film director extraordinaire and producer, Hollywood director and producer extraordinaire, my brother, the one and only Antoine Fuqua. What's going on, big time? How are you, man?
I'm good, brother. Always good to talk to you.
I gotta give you your props, man. I gotta give you your props, man, because the other day, you behind the scenes and you film, you directing and you producing, but I didn't know how well you were gonna be on camera. But when you showed up on ESPN's First Take the other day, I got to give it to you, my brother. You did all right. I was quite pleased, my man. The camera didn't faze you at all being in front of the camera. How'd you like it?
Hey. It's cool, but I stay behind the camera, bro. I'm gonna let Denzel and you handle that business.
I got you. The Equalizer 3 is out in theaters, obviously. I want to know what your thoughts are about it. How did you like filming it? I know you said this is the last installment of it. How are you feeling about the work that you've done?
Brother, I had a great time filming it, man. It was a dream come true to be able to take Denzel internationally, because a lot of times, back in the day, you used to hear that we don't travel, as far as our movie stars being Black. Mm-hmm. So it was fantastic to be able to take him international, man, and, film in Italy, a beautiful place, as you know,
yeah.
On the Mediterranean and all that, and in Rome and in Naples, and I'm proud of the work we did, man. We got it done. And it's a nice way to say, goodbye, ciao to Robert McCall. You know what I'm saying?
When you still want to say goodbye to Robert McCall and what have you, what's the need to say goodbye to him for at this particular juncture, considering how sensational Denzel is, considering what a following the Equalizer franchise has provoked? What's the need to say goodbye for? Why did you make that decision?
Three's a magic number, right? It's a spiritual number, man. And also, we, I think we've explored Robert McCall as much as we can, at this point in his life. Mm-hmm. As you and I talked about before, one was really about finding purpose. What was his purpose after leaving the CIA and all that? And then two was really about, dealing with the past, the death of Susan, the death of his wife, the betrayal of his partners, so three was really about finding a place, man, finding home and finding some peace, and it felt like this one was about finding peace, and a good way to say goodbye. You can only do but so much with these characters, and then you got to, start with the prequel.
Now, a lot of people talk about sequels and stuff like that. I'm thinking prequel because you just brought that up. And when I think prequel, I got a particular name in mind. Do you, sir? Do you? Is there somebody, when you think about a prequel to Robert McCall with Denzel Washington coming in the fold? Is there somebody in mind that you would think about doing a prequel with that interests you?
Oh, for sure. Denzel's son.
All right. John David Washington.
John David. Yeah, he would be amazing. But also Michael B. Jordan, right? Either one of those can kill it. Denzel's son, I'll call him by his own name, John David, because he's doing his own thing by his own right? As a movie star. Mm-hmm. I think he would be amazing, and it would be a special once in a lifetime thing to do something like that. A father and son. Michael B. brings his strengths, and all his acting ability as well, and physical ability, that would be fantastic as well. Either one of those dudes I'd be happy with.
Let me ask you this question, man. As a film director and a producer, what do you look for when you're looking at a talent to put on screen? What's the criteria for you personally that really, really makes it resonate in your mind?
First is just the acting skills, right? It all starts from the bottom up, man. Like your craft, your pedigree, right? And that's the thing that starts it for me. If you're serious about what you're doing, the craft of acting, and then there's a magic that some people have. The camera loves them, and there's something that they have that draws people in. it's a special connection. It's hard to explain it. I know it when I see it. I know it when I even see it. If there's an extra or a person that's not even an actor that's around, if they got something about them, if they're brave enough to get in front of the camera. And by the way, you did a great job, you and your man in that commercial.
I loved it, man. I loved it. I'm gonna get an acting bug going someday. I mean, it'll happen someday soon. I don't think I'm shabby, but I'll never be the people that you've worked with. The Denzels and the Ethan Hawkes of the world, Gerard Butlers of the world, Morgan Freemans. Because Olympus Has Fallen. You did that movie too. That's one of my favorite movies over the last decade. So, I mean, spectacular movie as far as I'm concerned. I absolutely positively loved it. But I guess what I'm asking is, so you see something like that in a Denzel, right? Obviously, it's there. We all see it because this is Denzel we're talking about here. When you see the talent that exists out there, sometimes as a sports guy, we look at Jordan, and then we saw LeBron on the come up. We saw Kobe on the come up before LeBron, et cetera, et cetera. As a director and producer, when you see the greatness of a Denzel, the Ethan Hawkes of the world, the Morgan Freemans of the world, are there people that stand out in your mind? I know John David Washington's got to be one of them. I think Michael B. Jordan's got to be another one of them. But aside from those two names, is there talent that's out there that you're looking at right now? You're saying, this is special. We need to take, people need to know about these people.
Yeah, I mean, I see it. It's a similar thing like sports, right? I mean, you see talent, and there are a few people out there that I'm kind of watching. I don't want to say who yet,
sure.
But I'm watching.
Okay.
But the question is, it's just like in sports, are you going to develop the right way? You got the talent, but are you going to really develop the right way? Are you going to really put that work in? Are you going to go to do theater and really, sharpen that, that skill? That's the thing that I'm looking at the most right now, because there's a lot of young people out there that have some talent, man. I'm not sure if a lot of them are going to rely on their looks because they have it, or are they going to allow themselves to become a great actor and not worry about being a movie star? Because, movie stars are rare. We only got a handful of movie stars. Denzel Washington obviously being that. He'll tell you he's just a great actor.
He's big on that. Whenever he and I talk, he actually he can't stand it when somebody will speak to his popularity. They'll speak to the effect or the impact that he has. His thing is he's about the work, and a few conversations I've had with him over the years, that's where, and you too, that's where. See, I one thing I know that's I often say this, Antoine, I'm brilliant because I know I'm not. I simply listen and learn from those who are. That's what I'm saying. I'm talking to you. I'm talking to him. And y'all are about putting your head down and just doing the work. And you are, he's a working actor. You are a working producer and director. That's who you are. And the stardom, you don't care too much about. Where does that come from?
You know what, man? I came from sports myself just as a kid, growing up playing ball and all that, grinding. And, as you know, there's no other way on the road of greatness unless you grind. My man, Ali, right? That's my hero, man. He didn't like putting in the work, but he knew he had to put in the work. And sometimes, you're just putting your head down and not getting caught up in who might be in front of you or who's getting more hype than you or whatever that is. You just got to keep grinding and doing the work. That's the only way to hone in on those skills. And it's the only way to really make something worth making. So I think it comes from sports for me, putting in that work, coming from Pittsburgh. There's nothing flashy about it. Flashiness comes later. We get one premiere. We get to put on some nice gear for a night. And then, you roll your sleeves back up and get back on the grind again, you know?
How does it make you feel when we live in a society today, and obviously you had actors and actresses, and then we see reality TV, and that's not necessarily really acting, even though those folks are incredibly popular and they make a lot of money. As a director and a producer, does one's popularity factor in to your willingness to give somebody a look, because there is an audience to be fed. You definitely want to ingratiate yourself with an audience so they'll support your product, right? How much does that play a role in the decision-making process to elect to pick somebody to be in a film, for example? Does that play any role at all?
For some it does, not for me, not at all. I mean, if you can't act, man, I'm not going to sacrifice the whole movie, for somebody to come in and stink up the joint, and distract you from the story. It's happened before where studios wanted somebody popular to balance out maybe the darkness of the film. But if I was going to ever do that, I would get somebody popular that I know can handle the work, even if they're not at that time focused on acting. Snoop and Dre in Training Day is a great example of that. Like, they didn't want Ethan Hawke in the movie at one point. They wanted more popular actors. Understandable, because the money and all that. But I wanted a great actor, because I knew I couldn't have somebody not able to hold your own next to Denzel.
Right.
That was just never going to happen, and he wouldn't let that happen either. But in order to get Ethan, the deal I made was, I'm gonna get Dre, I'm gonna hit Dre up, and I'm gonna hit Snoop up. Because Snoop made sense for the character that was written, and I knew he could handle that. And I knew Dre could handle it. Dre wasn't exactly thrilled about playing a cop till I told him what kind of cop he was.
Exactly.
Like,
so you're a road cop. You're a road cop.
Dre was like, nah, homie, I ain't doing that. I said, no, I'm talking about him. He gonna throw the cornrows in. He's a part of that crew. They're dirty. And he's like, all right, I'm with that. Let's get down. But that helped the movie as well, having them in it. And they were obviously highly popular, Snoop and Dre. Right. But I did it because it was the right thing and it fit the story.
Snap into action this NFL season with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. I'm gassed up for this upcoming season, y'all. I'm telling you that right now. I can hardly wait another second. And I know the best way to enjoy every single game, even if it's not your favorite team, is by putting down some bets, Right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place a $5 bet. That's $200 in bonus bets. Win or lose, I don't see why you wouldn't get in on this opportunity and get your fill of all the spreads, the player props, the futures, the over and unders, all that stuff that makes the game that much more exciting. So visit FanDuel.com/SAS and kick off the NFL season. FanDuel, official partner of the National Football League.
Must be 21 plus and present in select states. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under an agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit fanduel.com/RG in Colorado, Iowa, Michigan, New Jersey, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Illinois, Tennessee, and Virginia. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT-STEP to 53342 in Arizona. 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut. 1-800-9-WITH-IT in Indiana. 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com in Kansas. 1-877-770-STOP in Louisiana. Visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Visit 1-800-GAMBLER.net in West Virginia or call 1-800-522-4700 in Wyoming. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts or call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York.
Training Day was in 2001, if I remember correctly. Here we are in the year 2023. What's different about Antoine Fuqua now compared to what he was then 22 years ago?
You mean besides not having hair?
Yeah, how about that? Besides not having hair. Hey, listen, at least you were brave enough to let it go. I'm still holding on to it with my George Jefferson looking stuff. I'm still holding on to it, Antoine. I'm trying to hold on to it.
You good, Holy Spirit. You good. Yeah. Don't stop nothing.
You know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm Stephen. I'm much calmer. I think I'm much deeper in my thinking as far as material and the mythology and the method and the process of making movies. I understand the studio system a little bit better, and their politics as well, being able to navigate my way through that, at times, and understanding it is a business, it is show business. And so I think I'm much more astute of that. And I think I'm a better craftsman for sure, as far as the work goes. So yeah, those things definitely are different than what I was then. I was all gut and fire then, you know. So now I think I'm using my head a little bit more as a film.
And why do you believe you were more gut and fire back then? I mean, I remember reading a story about you. Obviously, you're from Pittsburgh. They said you were shot at the age of 15. You've gone through a lot in your life. I really would like you to share with our viewers and listeners, you know, the kind of life you felt, in your words, that you went through, and how that played the role in that fire that you had in your belly earlier on in your years.
Yeah, you know, when I was young, man, some people call it anger issues. You know, I was just full of fire because, you know, I wanted to win, you know, and I grew up in an environment where, you know, losing just wasn't an option, whether that be, you know, and I'm the oldest of 4. So, and I had to hold it down. I got 2 sisters and a brother, you know, sisters, they can, man.
I got 4 of them. I know what you're talking about. I got 4 older sisters. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, man, I step off the bus and hands just go right up because somebody was talking some trash, and normally it was them starting it. You know what I'm saying? It was like, man, so I had that in me. And playing ball, you know, I mean, I'm 6 foot, you know, and then I was the point guard. And obviously the guards were getting bigger. They were like your height.
Right.
You know, balling out. And so I had to be aggressive to get a spot to do my thing. You know, that's how I wound up going to West Virginia State and all that.
Right.
That same aggression could get you in trouble. So when I was younger, you know what I mean, and talking back, and moms was like, you know, go to the store, get some macaroni and cheese, thunder and lightning outside. Man, I ain't going to the store. You know, I'm talking. My grandmother said, God don't like ugly. I'm like, oh, Grandma, here you go with that old Southern, you know. I run out the door, boy, hit that corner. Dude started lighting up the alleyway. I would just happen to be the guy cutting through the alleyway, going to AM supermarket, watching telephone poles splinter all around me, man. I cut at the AMP supermarket. I'm standing there shaking, you know, and blood start dripping on the floor, you know? So for me, it was like, it was the moment where I didn't think about myself, Stephen, at all. I only thought about the women in my life, by the way. I thought about my mother, my cousins, my grandmother, them standing over a casket, which I've done many times with my friends, and smelling, you know, the embalming fluid, smelling flowers. I felt all that at that moment. And I was like more afraid for them and the pain I was going to cause them than me dying. I wasn't afraid of dying. I was afraid of what it was going to do to them, you know? And that changed me a lot, man. That made me rethink my attitude. It made me rethink where I wanted to be in my life. And it sort of stays with me now, you know, to be able to be a little calmer, be a little kinder. Don't take life for granted, you know, and it could be over in a second, even if you didn't do anything wrong. I did a lot wrong, trust me, back then. But this time I was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. You know, the store was getting robbed up the street, and he just saw a few black kids running down the alley. He just let go. So, you know, that changed me quite a bit, Stephen. That affected my life in a profound way. And I think a lot about that now.
And you think about it now, why?
Just, you know, I try to remember that I could turn a corner and it could be it. You know, I won't get to make another movie. I won't get to talk to you, you know, see my friends and see my family, see my children. So, you know, I try to have a vision to see around the corner so I can appreciate the moments I'm in. So if I'm making a film and I'm having a rough day and everything's going wrong and God decides I'm gonna throw a little rain, I'm gonna throw a little hurricane at you, you're gonna shoot in the swamp, I gotta remember those are all blessings, and I gotta sit back and let life do what it's gonna do, check myself, but know when I get the opportunity, when the window opens up, I go hard. I go as hard as I can. I give it everything I got until the whistle blows, until it's over.
How do you feel when you run across folks? And I'm asking this on a personal level because particularly black folks. You know, we love all human beings. We don't hate anybody. But damn it, I'm going to speak for myself. I'm partial to my own. I ain't apologizing to anybody for that. I don't want anyone to fail. I don't want anybody not to have their joy. But as a black man, I'm not going to apologize for rooting for Antoine Fuqua more than I root for Martin Scorsese or somebody, or even Jerry Bruckheimer, who I revere and respect and all of that stuff, because I would love to see more of us doing it. But I also know that because of the hard work that I'm willing to put in, the trials and tribulations that people like myself, you, and others are willing to endure, I don't have patience for laziness. You can try hard and work, and it may not work out today, but it may work out better tomorrow. But when you're lazy and you're cutting corners, it does something to me, especially when it comes from one of us, because we know what obstacles we have to face. What's your mentality in situations like that when you encounter people that might have potential, but you look at them and you're like, wait a minute, that work ethic, that commitment to excellence, that desire to be as close to perfection as you could possibly get simply just ain't there. How do you handle that?
You know, if they're working for me, for example, when I'm on the set, and let's say it's a PA, and they're doing their job, and I peep it that they're lazy, and then I need them to do something for me, and they half-ass it. I'll check them. Like, I'll let them know, your name's on this as well, forever. Give it all you got, even as a PA.
Yeah.
Because that's gonna set the pace, and it's gonna set the standards for wherever you're trying to go, right? And if you don't have that, then you shouldn't be around me. You shouldn't work for me, because I'm gonna keep pushing it, but I can't make you want it. I tell my kids, I can't make you want it. I can kick open the doors as much as I can and lay it out in front of you as much as I can, but you gotta want it. And if you don't have that, then find something else to do. That's how I deal with it, And I see it a lot. I see great talent. And sometimes what I realize, Stephen, is that some of them are lazy, really lazy, and some of it's fear.
Fear of what? Fear of what?
Oh man, fear of failure. Fear that you're gonna get embarrassed. Fear that people are gonna talk about you, laugh at you.
Yeah.
Hey, that's all part of the journey.
Yeah.
What's the saying? You pray for the rain, you got to deal with the mud.
That's right. Absolutely. I definitely agree with you there. And so being in Hollywood and having that kind of mentality and living in the times that we're living in, are you enthused and excited about the opportunities that lie down the road just for the communities at large and the kind of opportunities that are available? Are you hype? Are you hyper excited about it? Or do you look at the climate that we're living in and you find yourself being a bit more concerned than excited?
Yeah, that's a good question, bro. It's a little bit of both. A little bit of both. What I worry about the most, I see talent and I see people doing some amazing things, and I see the minds expanding, especially our people, creatively, of what we can achieve and do. I worry sometimes that with that responsibility, we may be moving some people, not everybody, fast. I'll give an example. We got to pull each other up, but we got to make each other accountable. And when we pull each other up, make sure that person is ready to be there, because what happens is you take a young cat and you want to move them through the system real fast because you want to put one of us in that position. We can't fail like some people can fail.
Right.
That's the thing I worry about the most, is that you move too fast, you don't have the pedigree, you don't have the work ethic or even just the knowledge yet to be in that position. And then when you get there, you fail. And then for us, well, see, they can't do it. They're not good enough.
Right.
That's what I worry about the most.
And they don't isolate us. They don't like they don't say he can't do it or she can't do it. They say they can't do it because one person didn't do it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the thing I worry about the most. I am excited about it. I am excited about the opportunities. that I see us as a people getting. But I do worry that we have to make sure that we are taking full responsibility of those opportunities and being professional about those opportunities and delivering the goods until the end.
And by the way, I wanted to interject because I want you to tell your audience what your definition of professional is, being professional. Educate folks about what exactly that means to somebody of your stature and your caliber.
Well, it all starts with trying to have an understanding of the business. What's the business of filmmaking, right? There's obviously people putting money into a creative process, and sometimes it will clash. You have to be able to have emotional intelligence and also to be able to step back and try to understand the positions of the people putting the money into this. You know, they're trying to get an investment back on your art if you're a director. So you got to understand that. So a lot of times you got cats coming at you with ideas and wanting to change something in the stories and wanting to, you know, beat you up a little bit about the money. Right. You have to be able to discuss it with them in a very clear, calm, professional way so that they understand where you're coming from, you understand where they're coming from, and you can come to some sort of understanding to then get what you want. And then if you don't get what you want, you have to be able to then adjust, right? You got to be like a quarterback. Yeah. You got to adjust. You know what I mean? You want to throw a bomb and you can't. You got to throw a short little drop pass, whatever it is. You know,
it was a big deal for me, man, to personalize it a little bit. I remember when ESPN let me go in 2009 over a contract dispute. I didn't feel that way then, but a couple of years later, I felt like it was the greatest thing that ever happened to me because I thought I was the man because people were screaming my name in the streets and I was on the side of bus stops and there was a few commercials out there and everybody telling me I'm the man. But I didn't master my business and I didn't think about ratings, revenue, Q scores, these focus groups and the kind of ratings they give you and what role that plays in them measuring your cachet and what they bring to the table. And so as a result, they had data and all I had was emotion. And the second I transitioned and learned more about my business, the greatest thing it ever did to me, Antoine Fuqua, is that it allowed me to depersonalize stuff. All of a sudden, something wasn't about racism. It wasn't about bias and prejudice. It was like I was doing exactly what you just explained. I was like, okay, well, they said this. Do they have a point? Yeah, my numbers are here, but it could be here. Yeah, the ratings are here, but it could be here. You know, so the money they offering is discommiserate with the kind of cachet that I bring to the table. And all of a sudden, when I started making those decisions, you know what happened? They actually wanted to talk to me more because I was speaking their language and I wasn't speaking with emotion. And it changed the trajectory of my career. Is that the kind of thing you're talking about?
Yeah, I've been there, you know. I got fired off American Gangster, man.
Oh, man.
That day kills me. Because, you know, that was a script that Brian Grazer gave to me to look at. I read it. I said, oh, man, we just did training day.
Right.
Got in the captain report, man. I'm like, okay. Got that. Read the script. Because Denzel wouldn't commit to that script.
Okay.
I called D. I said, D, take a read the script, man, American. It was actually called True Blue.
Okay.
D, he read it. You know, he had some notes on it. He said, well, you want to do it? I said, yeah, I want to do this, D. He goes, let's do it then. All right, I'm in it.
This is American Gangster. This is American Gangster after American you did Gangster. Training day. After you did Training Day. With
after
Russell
I did
Crowe.
Training Day, right? So we, you know, I'm feeling myself a little bit, you know, and so I got the movie, got D going. We prepping the movie, I don't know, maybe a couple of weeks before shooting this film. I'm in New York prepping this movie. Universal come to me and said, we got to cut the budget. And I'm like, man, cut the budget. You know, I'm at 96, whatever the number was. Cut it down to what? To like 85, 82, 83. Man, I'm like, no, I need all that money. I ain't cutting the budget. You know, I'm pumping my chest up and they want me to do all that shit. I'm fighting them back on it. Denzel at that point he was away. He hadn't come back yet in town. So I'm dealing with Universal on it and I'm emotional about it. I'm thinking, it's me and Denzel, man, give us what we need. Eventually they fired me. Right?
Wow.
2 weeks before shooting, right? Now, I didn't think it was fair. I don't think it's fair now, but I don't think I handled it well. Right. And so there was business that was happening that I didn't see. I wanted Denzel and Benicio del Toro. I had cast Benicio already.
Yeah.
They had already shot The Bourne Identity with Matt Damon.
Okay.
Right. I didn't see the movie, but they really wanted Matt Damon and Denzel. Right. But that was the business of it that I didn't see. I said, I want Benicio and Denzel.
Right.
They were running numbers on Denzel's movies and Benicio's movies. And in this movie that they knew it was going to be a smash, they wanted to put Matt in that position. But I didn't find that out till after they fired me.
Right.
The motive was because I wasn't really listening. I didn't hear what they had to say, right? And that was a huge mistake on my part. I would handle it completely different now and make that movie. Eventually, they made the movie with Ridley Scott, Denzel, and
Russell Crowe. Russell Crowe, yes.
Yeah. Now, the movie did wind up costing over $100 million. But they gave them the money.
Right, they gave them the money, not you, right?
Yeah, but Ridley and Russell had just won Academy Award for Gladiator and then all that. And they had, they ran the numbers, man. And it is what it is at the time. So that was a great lesson for me to sit back, because I started finding out about the business end. And remember, GE owned Universal, and I had ideas, man. I was like, well, the drugs was flying in on the president's plane. It's true, right? They were hiding it on. Like, you can't put that in the movie.
You can't put it. No, gonna have the White House calling you. You know what I'm saying? CNN looking for you. Everybody trying to bring down the United States government. That's what they said.
Man, but it was a lesson of like, sit back, listen, see where they're coming from. Calm down, because they want to win too. I mean, it's their money. They want to win. They want to win this, just as much as we do.
Yeah. So, you were on a basketball scholarship at West Virginia. Is that correct? I mean, you went to University. This is West Virginia.
And then I transferred to WVU. Yeah.
Okay, so no regrets whatsoever about not having an athletic career. Or was that even your objective when you went to college?
It was my objective, man. I wanted to ball out. I grew up watching sports and playing ball.
Right.
But again, man, I was quick to see what was happening. Like I said, I had game. I was quick and I could dunk. So I played up in Harlem and Mount Morris Park and all that, man. I was balling. But man, when I start seeing these young boys, it was like your height would handle and peeping over my head, I was like, it's not gonna happen. I gotta find another avenue, man.
I gotta find another avenue.
Yeah.
I feel
so that extent was over.
I got you, but as you look back on that and then you think about where you are right now, what, if anything, do you believe you missed? I don't know if you've missed anything, but we're all human beings. We must have missed something along the way. Like you just brought up American Gangster. That's a missed opportunity. Is there something else that stands out as conspicuously as that when it comes to a potential missed opportunity?
No, not really, man. I think God has a path for us all. There was a lot of talk a while ago about me doing Black Panther, but that was way before it was popular to be Black in Hollywood. And, the cartoon version of it wasn't appealing to me. I just grew up watching Apocalypse Now and Goodfellas and Mean Streets and those type of films. I like things a little more gritty and grounded. I believe that opportunity wasn't missed because it wasn't for me. It was for Ryan Coogler, and Ryan killed it.
Yes, he did.
So God had a plan for Ryan to come in and do that movie, not me, So I don't feel like I missed it. I feel like that's not something God had in plan for me.
How does it feel when you see yourself, you see Ryan Coogler, you see Spike Lee, obviously, he's won an Oscar, you think about what he did with the Five Bloods. We hear about, we know about people on the come up. We saw Michael B. Jordan just, direct his own, Creed 3, which I was in. I made a cameo appearance in that movie.
I saw that.
I made a cameo appearance. Well, that wasn't any acting. That was just me being me. He came on the set of First Take and everything. I'm not taking any credit for that. I just did my brother a favor. But I want to know that in the year 2023, when you see these opportunities and you see more than a few Blacks doing their thing, How excited are you about that? Is this a fad? Is this something that's here to stay in your mind based on your experience, what you know about Hollywood, et cetera, et cetera? What is your feeling about that?
I don't think it's a fad.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's here to stay. I like to see more, and I like to see more doing different things. I like to see who's going to do an Avatar. I want to see that type. I want to see that type of Spielberg type of Black actor who does those big blockbuster visual effects movies. I want to see us going and, what my dream is, Stephen, is that we can at one point stop saying Spike's a Black director, Antoine's a Black. Yeah, because we don't talk about Spielberg that way.
That's true.
We don't talk about Martin Scorsese that way. We don't talk about Oliver Stone that way. They're just great directors.
Correct.
Just great master filmmakers. And so one day they'll just say our name just as a director. And that's the dream. So I'm hoping that more come through, and maybe that's for the next generation.
I think you've already achieved that dream. They don't sit up there and call you a Black director. They call you Antoine Fuqua, period. That's what they say. And it's simple as that. I think you've reached that plateau. Do you believe you've reached that plateau?
Yeah, I do. Because of the things I'm offered from the studios. They offer me, everything. So it's not always about race or color or anything. It's just a story as a director. I do believe, but I've been working hard for a long time on that. Yeah. I started music videos, and Stephen, for a while, and I loved doing music videos back then, but I couldn't do Madonna. I didn't get Aerosmith.
Yeah.
The reason I wanted to do those videos because they were getting $1 million budgets. I was getting 100,000, maybe 125, right? So when those cats were doing those huge rock videos and all, I was like, give me some money. Let me go at it. So I stopped doing videos for a while and just did commercials, because commercials, there's no color. Whether it's, Ferrari or Giorgio Armani or Pirelli, whatever, I was just doing those commercials so that my reel at the time, when you had to send your reel in, you couldn't just put a color on me, right? So I've been fighting that battle for a while to just bust out of that box, to just say, just consider me just a director the way you would anyone else, and let me do the work,
You've done about 5 films with Denzel Washington. Training Day obviously was a huge, huge deal for you. Your first film was Replacement Killers. That was a damn good movie, by the way. Let's not forget that, in the late 90s. Let's not forget that, I think 1995, Dangerous Minds with Michelle Pfeiffer. You if I remember correctly, Jerry Bruckheimer came to you and asked you to produce that music video, Coolio's music video, on because of that movie, Dangerous Minds. All right, Gangsta's Paradise to be exact, in terms of the video that you directed. What's your biggest opportunity? Would you classify it as that call from Jerry Bruckheimer, or the call to do Training Day with Denzel?
I think they're both significant.
Okay.
Jerry definitely put me in the movie game that way, because, that's when the agents start calling me after that. I didn't have an agent until then. I was working on propaganda films, doing commercials and videos.
Wow.
But that got me going with the agents. CAA called me, William Moore's ICM and all that.
Yep.
So that's Jerry, definitely put me on there. That's my dude. I love Jerry.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah, man. But when a cat named David Unger was my agent at the time, and he called me and said, I found your movie, because he knew me. He knew me from propaganda. He worked in propaganda. And he said, you should read it right away. I read Training Day, man, in a couple hours, called him up. I said, I got to do this movie.
Right. And by the way, am I wrong in saying this? Everybody was in there wasn't actors, because I remember when Ethan Hawke was looking for Denzel. When he was in an apartment with Eva Mendes. I don't want to get too distracted, but I just need to say that Eva Mendes. Okay, I remember when near the end of the movie, and you had cats clapping on the roof. You understand what I'm saying? To let him know the cops was coming. At least the first time he went there. At nighttime when he went there, you had cats in there. I know some of them were actors, but some of them looked like they were really from that neighborhood. It was like that. It seemed as real as it could get. Is that an accurate depiction?
Oh yeah, it's as real as it could get. Everybody in those scenes Everybody in those scenes were Bloods in that scene.
Wow.
The only one who was an actor who wasn't even an actor then, I just saw him and I gave him an opportunity, was Terry Crews.
Yeah.
Yeah, on the roof flipping pigeons.
That's right.
Everybody was a Blood in that scene.
Wow.
Real deal. My boy Bone, Hitman, you know,
Right.
Loco, all those cats. And then when I shot at Nickerson Garden, when they shot out the car with Macy Gray,
Yep.
all those cats on the streets are Crips. Like, for real. Yeah, man. You know,
So you made sure to get both of them in the film, both of them.
Oh yeah, and the Mexicans.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. El Salvadorians and all those other cats, man. When they go up the steps with Smiley and those guys, obviously those are actors at the table.
Right.
With Ethan, except for one of them.
Yep.
The shit pushed in. He's an actor now.
Yeah, he's an actor now, but not then.
Yeah. Not then.
Right.
Going up those steps, man, the little young boy that came up to Ethan and said, "You know where you at, Holmes?"
That's right.
For real. I don't even think he's with us anymore right now.
Wow.
Yeah, he might be, but a lot of those cats aren't with us anymore, man.
And that's a real depiction of what life is like, and I get that, and I totally appreciate that. Did they appreciate it? Did they appreciate being brought into that world by you, by Denzel, by the whole production?
1,000%, man. Couldn't have done it without him. Like, you know, we sat down ahead of time and had real conversations. And I said to them, this is for your kids, man. This is for the legacy of your children, to see something positive, to sort of be a part of something positive, a film. But I need your help. So Bone would go and chop it up with these cats, and we would sit down, man, you know, and have a real conversation. You know, Big U and those dudes were all cool. They said, yeah, you know, come through. We had no problems, not one. We had one problem. Check this out.
Okay.
The G-Ride got stolen.
What?
Man, the G at the Jungle.
Okay.
Right? I called up a few cats. They said, don't worry about it. It'll be here in the morning. All right. I came to the set. It was there, clean and polished, detailed.
Wow.
Whoever the cat was that stole it, I don't know.
I don't know what happened to him. Plain and simple.
But it was there that morning, though.
I got you. Antoine Fuqua, man, before I let you get on out of here, it's been a long ride, and you've achieved some great things, some unprecedented things compared to most directors and producers in this game. How much longer are you planning on doing this?
Till the wheels fall off, man.
Yeah.
Till the wheels fall off. Absolutely, man. Ridley Scott's directing Gladiator 2 now. I think Ridley's 85.
Wow. Yeah.
Martin Scorsese's definitely in his 70s.
Yep.
Yeah, man. Till the wheels fall off.
You know, what do you think is next for you? Action, thrillers, and stuff like that. That's your MO. You do all of those things. But is there anything that you haven't done specifically that you want to delve into? Yeah,
man. I mean, I want to do something without any guns, for sure.
Right.
Without any violence. Michael Jackson is the one right now that I'm working on with Grand Prix. And, it's down the line, but I'm really excited about that, brother. Really excited.
And by the way, hell of a job with Jeannie busting the Lakers. You did that too. Hell of a job with that. Let's not forget that. You understand what I'm saying? Not man. That HBO stuff on the Lakers. I'm talking about your stuff on the Lakers. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, we got it right. We got that Emmy. Thanks for the love too on you shout out. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. Listen, man, one of the great honors of my career has been getting to know you and to be able to call you a friend. And I haven't earned it yet, but one of these days I'm gonna pull it off. I'm gonna be working with Antoine Fuqua one day. I got plans for you. Yeah,
that's how I get down. I make plans in the dark. Right. When it comes to the light, we're gonna win.
And I'm gonna follow the plan. My brother. Equalizer 3 in theaters as we speak. Congratulations to the latest installment. I love the idea of a prequel with John David Washington. It is apropos. He ain't Denzel's son, y'all. He is, but he's not. He's John David Washington. That brother is something special. Spectacular talent. So I'm really rooting for him. Always root for you. I'll see you soon, man. All the best to you, my brother. Thank you so much.
My brother. Appreciate you, brother.
Appreciate you, man. No doubt. Right. The one and only Antoine Fuqua. Director, producer, extraordinaire, right here with Stephen A. on the Stephen A. Smith Show. Equalizer 3 is in theaters right now. Once again, make sure to like and follow the Stephen A. Smith Show right here on YouTube. Click the bell to get notified of all of our new content. And be sure to pick up a copy of my New York Times best-selling book, Straight Shooter, a memoir of second chances and first takes. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, see you later.